It's been a painful week for the price of gold, for the price of silver. They are at war, and we want to know, right? Where are the prices headed in the future? We're going to take a look at what happened last week. It's very important for us to look back and kind of see what transpired, but even more important, we're going to look at the big stories in the economy, in geopolitics, and a number of other areas, things that will paint the picture for the price of gold, for the price of silver, all the precious metals as we move into the coming months and quarters. Let's get started right now. Is there any other way we can describe the last week besides crappy for the price of gold and silver? And don't forget, at the end of the video, we are going to talk about some positive sunshine, fairy tale, happy scenarios for the price of the precious metals. But first, gold started the week around $1,700 per ounce and ended the week at $1,650 per ounce, down a full 3%. Not good. Silver started the week at $20 per ounce, and now that same ounce of silver, according to the electronic markets, is only worth $18 per ounce, a full 10% drop. Horrible, painful, no other way to describe it. The GDXJ, the ETF that tracks the junior gold miners, started the week at $30 per share, ended the week at $27.75 per share, down a full 8%. So, if you're invested in a junior gold miner, or silver miner for that fact, you also had a bad week. A lot of my money is invested in that sector. It was a very painful week. The SIL, the ETF that tracks the junior silver miners and the mid-sized silver miners, started the week at $25, ended the week at $23.50, only down 6%. Thank you, yes, you, for joining me here in Ron's Basement. There's only one you, and from wherever in the world you are joining me, I appreciate and value your time. If you enjoy my content, I put out new information every single day. I don't have fancy graphics. I am not trying to sell you anything. Just provide information and dialogue between us regarding what's going on in the precious metals markets, in the economy in general. You can always come back. Please subscribe right here. Give the video a thumbs up if you like it. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Your thoughts, your ideas, your sharing makes a big difference. Now let's get back to the video. Let's move on to the broader markets and see how they did, right? How did your money in the general market do? The S&P 500 started the week at 3640, ended the week at 3583, down 2%. So not a good week in the general markets either. The 10-year bond yield started the week at 3.9%. Ended the week at 4%, so interest rates continued their march higher. A 30-year fixed mortgage is now above 7%. Credit card rates are up. It's just not a good thing that interest rates are heading higher and higher. That is also contributing to the dollar, which also was up by about 0.5% for the week. It's sitting, the dollar index, the DXY, right at about 113.5. Look, it seems to be stalled. The dollar is the big enemy of precious metals right now. It seems for the last 2 weeks to kind of be stalled in this 113 range. A lot of people are saying it can't go much higher without causing even more wreckage in the world economy. A strong dollar, good generally for the USA, bad for Europe, Asia, South America, the rest of the world economies. We'll see how this dollar situation plays out in the coming months and quarters. Finally, the price of Bitcoin was down by about 0.5% for the week, ending at $19,200 per coin. Now let's focus our attention on gold. Gold appears to be struggling. There's no other way to say it. I'd like to say that gold is fighting a good fight, and I do believe that it is, but it feels like gold, if it were a prize fighter, has just been kind of knocked to the mat for the first time. Gold is fighting headwinds in every direction for the last year or so. A strong dollar, the Fed, it's all related, but basically owning gold has been like getting in a sailboat and trying to sail directly into the wind with a leak in the boat and a crabby wife to tow. But we got to remember a couple things. First, conditions will change. It's raining, it's storming right now. When it rains and it storms, it feels like it will never end, right? But it always does end. It will end. Conditions, macro conditions, we will, believe it or not, eventually have a tailwind in the future. The other thing we need to remember that's very important is that only 0.5% or less of the financial assets in the world are invested in precious metals and related investments. That is historically low. I've preached this over and over, and I want to say it to you one more time. That's only 1 in 200 people, $1 in $200 or yen or euros that are invested in the metals and the mining stocks. If that goes from 1 in 200 to 2 in 200, just 1%, that's double the amount of capital in the sector. We also heard Gareth Soloway say something very positive about gold. He calls it like he sees it. Good, bad, ugly, whether he's talking about the general markets, Bitcoin, or gold and silver. And what he said about gold was he's still very positive on gold because when he analyzes the numbers, and he does it on a very deep level, he sees big, big money acquiring gold. And the price of silver? It's all the way down here. Silver dropped 10% on the week, a horrible week. No other way to describe it. Although there's shortages everywhere, whether on the retail, wholesale, or even at the vaults for the LBMA and the COMEX, which are being drained at record paces, it makes no sense. Some people are saying we are setting up for a silver squeeze to end all silver squeezes. We'll see how that plays out. I'll have another video about silver out this weekend for you. If you own precious metal mining stocks like I do, it was a painful, painful week. The prices on these stocks are darn near at their pandemic crash lows. They are just being obliterated. 52-week lows, horrible situation in the mining stock sector. From the mud grows flowers. A lot of these stocks are presenting value opportunities like we haven't seen before, but we will definitely need to see some stability in the general markets and improvements in the metal prices for these stocks to really take off. But there is a huge, huge runway ahead of them. Like I said earlier, the GDXJ would have to go up 75-80% from where it is right now just to get back to where it was 4 to 6, 7 short months ago. And in the general economy, things are great, right? When you go out there, everything's wonderful. People have plenty of money. Well, people have plenty of money because they are running up their credit card debt to record levels and depleting their savings rate at darn near record levels. This cannot be sustained. People are financing their lifestyle right now at these much higher prices, which we saw in the CPI report, which was released this week. Record levels of inflation like we've not seen since 1980. And we don't need the government to tell us that. We know it's even worse when we go to the grocery store, gas station, or try to look for a new place to live. But according to Janet Yellen and Joe Biden, the U.S. economy is doing great. We have nothing to worry about. Well, remember this, guys. Some of the big factors like real estate and the job market are very much lagging indicators. What that means is that it takes 3 to 6 months for a slowdown in the economy to be reflected in those numbers. We had Bank of America come out this week, and they said that in the first quarter of 2023, we could expect up to 175,000 jobs to be lost per month in the first quarter of 2023. And all this supposed strength we're seeing in the U.S. economy is allowing the United States Federal Reserve Bank and Jerome Powell to be hawkish, to be aggressive with monetary policy. We know that's hurting the price of silver and gold. But the world is starting to revolt, from the UN to the World Trade Organization to countries throughout the world. They are saying enough is enough. The strong dollar, this tough monetary policy is killing us. And maybe some cracks are starting to form. I listened to a great interview with the head of the San Francisco Federal Reserve. It's on Yahoo Finance, where she indicated several times during the conversation that they can't ignore what's going on in the rest of the world. And you can rest assured the phone is ringing off the hook at the White House and at the Federal Reserve when it comes to this strong dollar that is wreaking havoc everywhere outside of the United States. Finally, two big world geopolitical issues going on right now. The war in Ukraine continues to rage. Russia is ramping up, and some people say ready to mop up in their quest to secure those 4 republic areas that they annexed just a few short weeks ago. OPEC totally slapped the United States in the face by issuing a major production cut. That went against the wishes of the White House. It has created a much higher level of tension between the Saudis and the United States. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. That will affect the price of gold and silver. All these stories will affect the price of gold and silver going forward. It's been a rough couple weeks. It's been a rough couple years in a lot of ways for people, for us invested in this area, but things can change. Things will change. Don't forget, gold and silver have been valued for thousands and thousands of years, and they've been valuable everywhere during that time period as well. Our time will come. It will stop raining. I'll be here for you through it all. I'll look forward to seeing you next time.